Hello and welcome to Manitoba Perspectives. I'm Riley Laychuk here in Studio 11 at CBC Manitoba, taking a look back at some of the big moments in Manitoba's history and the stories that define our province. We begin with the flood of the century. The Red River flood of 1997 forced some 22,000 people out of their homes from nearly 24 communities. Here's a look back at some of the sights and sounds.
If this is the highest point in Grand Forks and we're taking water, you know what kind of situation we're in.
We have 11 buildings that are either completely destroyed or that there's extensive damage.
That dike is not stopping anything. It's just pouring in down along the floodway.
It happened within minutes. That was totally unexpected.
I didn't hear what happened in St. Agathe.
It overflowed the dike blew.
All the work.
They need a warm house to come home to after it's all over.
It's really nice to be home.
One of the communities submerged by the river was St. Agathe. More than 2 meters of water swallowed roads and washed into homes and businesses. Francis Silvaggio gives us this look inside the community.
April 29th, the Red River claims its first victim. Water spills over an unprotected railway track and the community of St. Agathe is quickly submerged under nearly 2 meters of water. 3 days later, Louis Robert joins us for a tour of the flooded community, his first opportunity to see his home since the breach.
I'm very anxious to see it now.
But anxiety quickly turns to devastation.
This is the house right there.
His home is one of the hardest hit.
Right up
This is the basement here?
This is the basement, and I see that it's right full of water. Material things can always be rebuilt. Start down the line wherever we have to and just keep going back up again.
A month later, with the help of his grandson, Robert has begun the long process of rebuilding.
We're kind of resigned ourselves that we won't be moving back in here till at least September, maybe October.
When I came down for the first time, it was sure a mess here.
But not everything can be replaced. In the basement, the flood washed away precious family heirlooms.
And in this bedroom, there was a bedroom suite that belonged to my grandmother. I can go to an antique place, buy another one, but it's not my grandmother's.
Those prized and irreplaceable possessions are now somewhere in this huge junk pile just north of St. Agathe. It's a pile that grows bigger every day as residents like Robert tear down their old lives so they can start again.
Very emotional, and it's a very tiring, and it puts you under stress all the time because you don't know exactly what's happening, you know, who's going to pay what and stuff like that. So it's you're always worrying about something, you know.
And one of those worries is compensation. Robert is still waiting to find out how much assistance he will get to repair the flood damage. But Robert says if his family can survive this, it can cope with the uncertainty of the next few months.
I think, you know, altogether we'll pull through it.
For 24 hours, I'm Francis Silvaggio in St. Agathe.
The flood of 1997 caused more than $500 million in damages, but also led to vast improvements in flood infrastructure right across the province. Rick Ratty has this report on when Winnipeg declared the all clear.
There were a lot of happy, noisy people during the noon hour today at Portage in Maine. Most of the water that held the province on edge is finally receding. The war room where the city fought the flood is now empty, and the province's state of emergency has been lifted. As of today, the arena where evacuees had to register is now just an arena.
And that's the all clear.
The mayor invited the city to make a noise and celebrate. Bells rang. Motorists honked, and at noon, people gathered to celebrate and see Canada's snowbirds salute the province for braving a crisis. As it turned out, the only wings saluting Winnipeg were on this gull. The snowbirds didn't arrive until hours later.
Although it is probably a very good time to have a celebration, there are still a lot of Manitobans who don't have very much to celebrate.
About 4,000 people are still out of their homes. In some cases, these homes haven't suffered water damage, but they are inaccessible. Other homeowners enter their houses in a way they never dreamed they would. And then there are those whose homes are damaged, not to mention their livelihood.
I mean, everything is gone. Our furniture and everything was in there. So, I mean, everything was floating. So then as well the business, like the greenhouses and the shop and everything is gone too for this at this time.
It's kind of slippery to walk around here.
John Campo doesn't know if he can clean his home. The flood not only damaged his home, it released 150 gallons of oil.
With the fuel oil there is in here, we'll have to think seriously if it can be cleaned, and if it can't be cleaned, we'll have to look at other means of a home.
It will be months before people who were flooded get back to normal. In Winnipeg, barring heavy rains that could cause sewer backups, for most citizens, it's life as usual. Rick Ratty, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Manitoba is known as the birthplace of the Red River Métis, with Métis leader Louis Riel now recognized as Manitoba's honorary first premier. Jeanette Abraham dives into the history of her beloved great-great-uncle.
When Louis Riel took that famous first step on a surveyor's chain, he not only marked the beginning of a battle for the Métis, he started a centuries-long debate on his legacy. Known for leading his people to resist Canadian encroachment twice, Riel was responsible for bringing Manitoba into Confederation before being hanged for high treason. But how does history treat him today? Was he a traitor or a patriot? The hero or the villain? Riel's story has evolved over the past 150 years. We used to teach students that he was a traitor. Now he's the hero. You see him on t-shirts. There is even a holiday named in his honor. Yet the debate on his legacy seems never ending. While many celebrate his accomplishments, others remind us of his faults. But Riel isn't alone in being a complicated historic leader. He's got a lot of company. Washington owned slaves. Churchill is accused of starving India. Even Gandhi, yes, Gandhi, he exploited young women. The difference? Riel started out labeled the villain. The others, from the get-go, they were heroes. Recognized for their important contributions. No villainous talk about them. Isn't it time to give Louis Riel the same due? How do you view Riel today? Is it different from what you were originally taught? My name is Jeanette Abraham, and I am the great-great-niece of Louis Riel. I'm here to remind us all the way we tell history matters.
Let's go to 1984 now, to the heart of St. Boniface and Festival de Voyageur. CBC's Ross Rutherford brings us this look at the celebrations of the province's fur trading past and French heritage.
The debate over French language rights in Manitoba has been raging at the legislature for months. But today, Franco-Manitobans and many other people gathered here to begin a week of French celebrations in Winnipeg. The Festival de Voyageur honors the adventuresome men and women who, as fur traders, opened up the interior of the continent more than 200 years ago. Today, as part of the celebration, there was a parade from the legislative grounds to St. Boniface. Festival organizers were concerned they might encounter some anti-French demonstrators along the parade route, but that did not happen. The general manager of the festival, Norm Joyal, was delighted.
We never even got a boo all the way down. I walked with this flag all the way down in front of the festival float, and I did not hear. Everything was hand clapping and bravo.
Did that surprise you?
It sure was pleasant.
The parade ended here at Whittier Park, where many of the events are being held this week. 5 log cabins have been constructed on the grounds to give visitors a glimpse of the past. For example, inside one, you'll find apprentice blacksmith Armand Martin. Today, he was making chain links. Next door, you can taste home cooking, Voyageur style.
What is that? Really nice. Burnt bannock.
It's expensive to hold this 8-day event. Norm Joyal predicts it will cost up to $600,000 this year. The festival is still carrying over a deficit of more than $100,000 from last year. Joyal says festival organizers are hoping to break even in 1984. Ross Rutherford, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Coming up, from the opening of Portage Place
to announce our purchase of the Atlanta Thrashers,
to the return of the Winnipeg Jets, we take a look at 2 moments that defined Winnipeg's downtown. Stay with us. Welcome back. In 2011, Winnipeggers were partying in the streets. It followed news that the Atlanta Thrashers were moving to Manitoba, marking a return of the NHL to Winnipeg after 15 years. The CBC's Cameron McIntosh brings us this look at the celebrations and the return of the Winnipeg Jets.
to announce our purchase of the Atlanta Thrashers.
Those words so long dreamt of. Across the city, thousands cheered as others stood in awe. The moment surreal for Rob Wilson.
You know, I never thought I'd see the day. 5 years ago, I still didn't think economically we could do this.
The loss of the Jets in 1996 cut to the city's core. It's at times a cold and isolated place, but it's full of pride. Losing that hockey team was humiliating. Jafar Narciso was 10 years old.
It means everything, like our pride, the city is back. I mean, so much, when the Jets left, it's like the city broke.
Many say the original Winnipeg Jets were born here at Portage in Maine. This is where Bobby Hull was signed and then later Dale Howardchuk. Years later, it's where the city rallied to try to keep the team from moving. So, what better way then to celebrate today than by shutting down the streets for a hockey game?
It's not to say all is forgiven. Many here still blame NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman for not doing enough to save the Jets. But the dream here never died, although at times it felt improbable. Few dared to let themselves get caught up in it. When the Jets packed up, Gail Ray packed up her infant son's Jets jersey.
I can't believe it's gonna happen. It's so exciting.
Russ Romanek lived the dream. He got to play for his hometown Jets. He's thrilled other Manitobans will now get the same chance.
There's maybe, thousands and thousands of kids that may now make that their goal.
It's the only jersey you wear now.
This, after all, is about the future, even if for now it's wrapped up in the old colors and logo. First priority for these guys.
We're just discussing our season tickets.
Yes, season ticket holders.
And for Brandon Trask, a wardrobe change.
So you're changing that jersey, right?
Yes, absolutely. Just tell me what the new team will be called.
In 1987, Winnipeggers were flocking downtown for a different reason. The opening of Portage Place. Now under a multi-million-dollar transformation, the mall then had high hopes of being a major shopping destination. Here's a look back at opening day.
Portage Place is now open.
With that, an $80 million shopping complex, billed as the new heart of downtown Winnipeg, was in business.
Wow, did you ever think it was going to happen?
This is 3 city blocks full of stores, restaurants, and theaters. All but 6 were ready to open today, but even that was disappointing to the center's owners.
It is a little, but out of the total of, on the main project side of 130 stores, 4 or 5 not making it is not too bad.
Picasso's restaurant missed the grand opening, but workers were busy today racing to get everything finished. The owner vows to be open sometime tomorrow.
We're going to work some overtime, and we have a few people working from midnight until noon tomorrow.
But ready or not, Winnipeggers flocked in the thousands to see what this place was all about.
The face of the city is changing.
The Portage Place theme song echoed throughout the main courtyard this morning as people got acquainted with their new downtown landmark. And many agreed Portage Place will make downtown Winnipeg come alive.
It'll attract a lot of people, I think. It's really nice.
I remember a long time ago when it used to be just plain, and now it's just totally like Toronto or something.
Many of the stores here are familiar to local malls, but there are about 25 newcomers to Winnipeg and about the same number of homegrown shops and restaurants. The center's owners hope all this fervor will last at least 75 years. That's when this time capsule will be opened. It's filled with Portage Place memorabilia and was put in storage during today's official opening. It's a symbolic gesture highlighting the fact that the lease for the land Portage Place is built on runs out in 2062. That's when governments can buy all this back for $1. Yvonne Butcher, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Manitoba is no stranger to winter storms. Blowing snow, poor visibility, and highway closures make their mark on our province every winter. But in 1986, a major early season winter storm brought the province to a standstill for days. The CBC's Jane Chalmers brings us this look at how Winnipeggers coped with all of that snow.
The blizzard began fast and furious. By Saturday morning, fierce winds whipped 35 centimeters of snow through Winnipeg's streets, creating a blinding whiteout. The city was paralyzed. This morning, Winnipeg began digging out of the worst storm ever. Main streets were snowbanks. People worked all day trying to reclaim cars they had abandoned overnight. People chiseled away at huge drifts that had jailed them inside. Power lines cluttered some streets, waiting for repair crews. It's a $2 million record storm.
There's one hell of a lot of snow to remove, quite frankly.
And a lot of people to move. At the airport, crowds were angry and impatient. Some have been stranded here since Friday.
There were small children without blankets, without pillows. There was no milk. There were things like that, no bread.
They were making pillows out of clothes from their suitcases. They were wrapping themselves in their coats as best as possible and sleeping on benches and freezing.
This is ridiculous. And it was just terrible, just absolutely terrible. For what they call an international airport, there was no services here whatsoever, nothing.
And almost nothing left on grocery shelves. You can't buy a loaf of bread at the few stores that are open.
All I had was a can of soup in my cupboard. I have 3 kids, and so it's pretty hard.
And we're running out of things. We have no way to get anything right now, so it's been tough a little bit.
And tough to get to the altar. Yesterday's weddings had to be canceled.
I cried, desperately cried. I called the
This bride waited at the altar while her groom and wedding party piled into the only car they could find.
I can't believe it.
Better late than never.
I hope it indicates that if we can get through this, we can get through anything.
The storm is over, but for Winnipeg, the most difficult job is just beginning. Even with snowplows working day and night, many streets won't be cleared until the end of the week. Buses won't run on time until then. Tomorrow, many businesses and schools will be closed, while Winnipeg digs out of a record storm that will cost the city millions of dollars. Jane Chalmers, CBC News, Winnipeg.
After the break, it sits atop the Manitoba Legislature. But in 2002, Manitobans had a chance to get up close and personal with the Golden Boy. We take a look at that, plus a look at a peculiar moment inside the legislature. Those stories still ahead. Welcome back. It has sat atop the Manitoba Legislature for more than a century. The Golden Boy was first unveiled in 1919. But in 2002, Winnipeggers had a chance to get up close and personal with the statue. It was on display at the Forks after undergoing a major transformation.
Dawn is breaking. Parents and children arrive at the Manitoba Legislature fresh out of bed. There's an excitement in the air, and it has nothing to do with politics.
We want to see history making.
The Golden Boy is going home, a symbol of prosperity and hope for Manitoba. It sat atop the legislature for more than 80 years. 80 years of exposure to the elements took their toll. The statue needed a new support rod inside its body and a fresh coat of 24-karat gold leaf. Restoration took 7 months. Now, a crane is about to place the statue back on its perch. The crane's horn signals the Golden Boy's ascent. And with a few slight adjustments, crews pull the Golden Boy into place.
Oh, it happened so quickly.
I kept thinking, I hope he doesn't drop it.
I was just hoping they wouldn't put it on backwards.
Inside the cocoon of scaffolding, crews are proud of their handiwork.
It's an exciting day. It's a combination of over a year's worth of work.
We had to do a lot of thinking, every move, we've done a lot of calculations, and everything worked perfect.
Including the budget. The Premier says he's not expecting any cost overruns. The total bill, $1 million. But some work still remains. Scaffolding has to be removed in time for the Queen's visit in October. On her agenda, the Golden Boy's rededication ceremony. And that's when his new lighting system will be revealed. Krista Erickson, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Let's take you inside the Manitoba Legislature now to one of its more infamous moments, the 1980 paper fight, when MLAs rolled up stacks of paper and hurled projectiles at each other to mark the end of the legislative session. The CBC's Judy Laychuk was there.
It's a treasured tradition in all legislatures. Some say it originated when the press gallery was permitted to throw back onto the floor the pages of government speeches they had listened to throughout the session. MLAs take the opportunity for well-aimed strikes at each other, which through the session have only been verbal. And it's usually over in 5 minutes. But this year, it's not over yet. The paper fight has escalated into a battle of rolled-up Hansards and heavy government documents aimed with deadly accuracy. People can get hurt. In years gone by, the 50s and 60s, the paper fight was more sedate. Crumpled sheets of paper made harmless weapons. But House Speaker Harry Graham this morning counted 9 broken microphones in the Manitoba chamber as a result of last night's melee, and he's concerned.
They can cause physical harm as well as a lot of breakage of equipment. We are in the process of putting in a whole new sound system in that chamber, and the equipment is very expensive. It's somewhat ridiculous to put in very expensive equipment just to have it damaged by somebody throwing a missile.
Graham had been opposed to the presence of television cameras during the fight, citing concern for costly TV equipment as reason. But 2 cameras, CBC and CKY, did record the battle. They escaped unscathed. Nonetheless, Graham was angered by their presence.
I told you, you've disobeyed me.
Peter Fox, a former House Speaker and member of the Legislature's Rules Committee, says he had the same problem with over-exuberant MLAs when he was House Speaker.
During my term of office as Speaker, I had to plead with the members to use some discretion because a number of times there was quite an amount of damage done to the equipment in the chamber, and a number of people have been hurt. Fortunately, no one seriously, but they have been. And, you know, you never can tell when you're having this kind of a free-for-all when someone will get seriously hurt. And I think it would be very regrettable.
Present Speaker Graham ordered the CBC camera impounded after it had recorded last night's paper fight. The CKY crew was not asked to hand over their camera. The CBC crew did not comply with the Speaker's request. This is the second year television cameras have been allowed in the House during the legislative session, though they have been permitted to film only the paper fight in the past. The House Rules Committee is expected to examine whether the camera crews overstepped their bounds in recording the fracas last night. Judy Laychuk, CBC News.
And that is all the time we have for you on this edition of Manitoba Perspectives. Thank you for spending some time with us and looking back on some of the moments in our province's history. Take care, and we'll see you next time.